Hello.
Hello.
Today we wanted to talk about how you have neutral conversations. So this is something that we do where you don't bring in necessarily your personal religious beliefs, your political beliefs, your party, like you discuss it like
You have no
completely third
place.
party, right? So
Yeah.
this is I think something that seems like everyone in our country needs to learn right now.
Yeah.
This is how you make progress. This is how you come to a place that's peaceful.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of different types of people who have, very different opinions than your own. But I think you can always find common ground with someone somewhere.
Hmm.
So, starting off by trying to find a place where you can humanize them, but also have them humanize you.
Yeah.
We've kind of gotten to a point where so many people are like dehumanized from being online. Like they're no
Mm.
longer a person,
Very true.
they're someone on a phone, right?
Yeah.
So, how can we bring that in as like, oh, they still are a person experiencing this life that I'm also experiencing. So that was kind of what I wanted to touch on was like finding common ground to kind of humanize yourself to someone else, but also vice
Hmm.
versa.
Yeah. I would say I remember this conversation when I used to have a book club
Mm-hmm.
years ago when you were little, and it was really neat because a lot of the women in this book club were of a particular church, and ended up having a day where we invited women from a different church,
Mm-hmm.
very different faith, like to come and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And it was like the questions were kind of funny for me to hear from the side on just say the people that were in my book club,
Mm-hmm.
that they grew up a certain way and they had very interesting questions for these other women. And it was like, okay, this was really necessary because they were dehumanizing them in their mind with their questions and the things that they thought about what it must be like if you were
Right.
XYZ. And so in the end, I just remember all the little kids like were running around. They came with their kids, and
I
actually
remember
you and your
being
brother were the
somewhere.
only kids there because on our side, because everyone else was older. And it was great because it was a neat discussion and
Mm.
like really understanding things that we probably didn't really understand. So it's like I think you're just hitting the nail right on the head with humanizing one another.
Well, yeah, and I mean, we've all been raised in different social constructs to what you believe, whether that's from like your household to the communities that you're involved in, but also just like where you live.
Hmm.
So you think whatever is going on is normal from, the bottom tier of, let's say, your family, as you expand your worldly knowledge of the neighborhoods to state that you live in.
Yeah.
You all have your social norms, but I mean, there's way different social norms all across the world in different neighborhoods. So
Yeah.
how can you find a way to just be like, okay, what do we have in common? What can we agree on? How can I make you see me as a human? I see you as a human. Now
Well,
you
and
can
it's showing
respect.
respect.
Get out of my head.
Woo! That's the whole thing I was thinking is like, wow, we're not showing other human beings respect,
Yeah.
and it's we've gotten to a point where people, well, not gotten to a point. I think it's always been this way, and that's why for thousands of years, particular groups have had war, right, and battles because they don't respect each other for having a different belief system, whether it be a particular set of books or whatnot that they follow with their own particular rules. And, it really is by where you live, you know, to be specific, whether or not you lived in Asia or India, or if you were in the Middle East, or if you were in the UK, you're going to have a quite obvious particular way you may have been raised, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you are religious, for one thing. And then everybody has their different political sides. And then there's countries where they're not allowed to have a political side, right? So we have a lot of examples out there of how different structures work.
Mm-hmm.
And now you say, okay, these people, like if we were to look at what's going on right now in Israel and all that, it's really a lack of respect
For
for
someone
one
else.
another when it comes to their religious beliefs. And
Well, there is so much like, I feel like the best way to say this is from any standpoint, not religious, but other ways. It's like demonization of
yeah.
someone else's opinion makes them horrible. And I think that is like, detrimental to us humans having like human connections. It's like, oh, because you have one idea and you don't think the same as me, I have demonized you in my mind. I want to ostracize you from our
Hmm.
communities and our groups because you have this one idea I don't agree with. And that's like, what's the whole thing that people always tell you is it takes a village to like raise children or to have a community of people that, you know, you can talk to. But now you're ostracizing people just for one certain feeling, one certain opinion, which I think is kind
Yeah.
of crazy. So
I
much
I
hate.
mean, yeah.
Like,
It's when you get to a point of, unfortunately, I feel like it's religious psychosis. So if you believe so strongly that you are the only person on the entire planet who could be right, that's a level of arrogance that I don't know, I'm not comfortable with personally.
yeah,
I absolutely want everyone to be able to practice their own particular faith for what works for them.
yeah,
I'm all for you believing in there being a God or a source or a higher power, right? But
yeah.
and you practice that in whatever way you want.
Well, I think that can be taken in so many other ways, though, too. Is it's not just religion; it's
No, I just think
anything
it's a good
else. It's like
example right now for like just in
moving
general. It's
on.
like saying, okay, if I am it's a hateful way of looking at other people if you are the only one who could possibly be right. And I think that's something that in our country we experience a lot of,
Yeah.
even though we're this wonderful melting pot of so many different people.
Hmm.
And if we can create a space for everyone to just mind their own business in a sense, like do your own thing, like it works. But
But
when you
it's
start trying to put structures in place now in law that are from your particular
feeling.
beliefs
Yeah.
or your opinions, which you do have to realize, like no matter what religion you are, it is your opinion of what you believe. It's not a fact to everyone on earth, right? You might think it's a fact.
No, but like forcing those feelings on other people, I mean, especially like religions itself, I mean, that's not very like how I feel like a lot of those religions are set up is by force.
Mm-hmm.
It's lead by example, lead by being a good person and showing what it's like to be in those religions. Um, but forcing that is not something that and you're dehumanizing everybody else who's not, doesn't believe exactly what you believe in your
Yeah, what are you creating for yourself? What are you creating for your country? What are you creating for a city you live in?
opinion, your
If
community.
I mean that's yeah, your community in general. I I don't get it. I want people to be able to believe what they want to believe and worship the way they want to worship. But in general, I don't know.
No,
So I mean, the same thing. So in this avenue, I have found a couple really good Facebook groups or different groups of people that want to discuss politics from an independent standpoint.
mm-hmm.
And I love this because the conversations are better. It's not, well, you said, and this is, and you're stupid, and they're stupid, and they're mentally ill. Both sides are saying they're mentally ill for having a difference of opinion.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
not productive.
I feel like most people that I talk to, we can always find, oh, we actually agree on almost everything. There's
Yeah,
just
you
like
have given me some
certain,
really good examples lately. Like she's discussed with certain people, like or people in her life that are clearly have a very strong one side or the other
yeah,
political side opinion. And she can say, I'm going to play devil's advocate here and propose these concepts. And they'll be like, well, I agree with that. I agree with that. Oh, yeah, you must be on my side. And she's like, well, that's what the other side is saying.
like,
It's so
okay,
true.
there is such a divide, and can be politics and religion or whatever you want to call it, but there is such a
Mm-hmm.
big divide that people want to place between like it's either us versus them.
Yeah.
And I don't understand that, because at the end of the day, we're all just people trying to live our lives for the first time. Like we're all still learning. We're still experiencing. I mean,
Yes. Yes. Well, and being able to say, okay, I can see where you're coming from, or even to say, I might change my mind on that. Wow. Like it's you got to realize that's possible sometimes for, what
yeah,
you're seeing, or maybe someone you follow politically crosses a line and now you're like, wow, I can't agree with that anymore because now it's a moral issue, or whatnot. Like, I'm watching people just argue, and it's the most exhausting political climate of my life
it's mentally
currently. It
exhausting.
is mentally exhausting, like, if you don't remove yourself. And I think it's really what's happening is it's always been going on, but social media is
Has made it
making it
worse.
so big and so in your face all day long that
Well,
you're just always like, oh my gosh, you're being bombarded with people's
this
opinions.
is what I was discussing the other day with people who are on very opposite sides of
Yeah.
everything. And it's okay, how has social media kind of affected the way that we like see the world? Like there is so much stuff as humans we're probably not supposed to be seeing, like people dying or experiencing horrific things. We're seeing it every day. So guess what? Now you're numb. So now it doesn't seem like that big of a deal because
Yeah.
we've seen it so much. So and both people on both sides can agree that, oh yeah, this is horrible. We're so numb to seeing death and destruction that now, like, oh, you
Yeah.
see it again, you don't go, you go
Or you make a
again,
joke about
or you
it.
make jokes
You're like,
like,
oh wait,
oh yeah, I've
that's
just seen
not
this
normal.
again. Like,
I wonder if you and I have any different viewpoint on that, just from like our age and like
maybe.
what's different for, like, so Ellie's 25, and
Uh-huh.
say in the last 25 years what you've experienced, and the I'm on my last 40th. I saw someone the other day. She goes, I'm in my last 40s.
That was funny. I love
Like,
that I'm
that's a cute
25 because I
last
can also
40s.
tell people that if I need to, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm closer to 30, or I'm like, no, I'm in my early 20s. I'm in the middle now.
But I wonder, like, if you feel like you've always been looking at it, where I feel like it's changing and it's suddenly a flood, and it's draining to me right now.
So
I have to be very cautious of what I consume. So
yes,
what I follow, who I follow, I don't care if you're in my family. I don't care, like, local news, like, one, you need a mix. You need a
everything.
little different sources. Two, some people just need to be turned off, mute. Like, I don't need your
It's
opinions
exhausting.
all day long. Dear Lord, like, just
No.
stop. So the other thing is the violence. So the fact that there are certain things you can see on the internet now, whether it be violence or pornography or whatever, like, the level of gore in general is horrifying. Like, even if there's war, but the news seems to glorify posting the most awful, horrific, dramatic thing, like that's selling. Like, you're not selling me by telling me the worst
No, it's getting
possible
you
thing you can come up
views.
with.
So,
Weird.
like, I was just discussing this with people from the ages of like 20 to 30
Mm-hmm.
and over the weekend
Okay.
about how our generation has been exposed to so much from the
Mm-hmm.
internet, just the internet. Like, we were
Yeah.
talking about some of the videos that you would see. Like, we've seen people decapitated online from the first few years we were able to access the internet. We've seen, horrific things online in the
Yeah.
last five
Let's not
years.
discuss them too
Well,
specifically to
okay,
give
but
people PTSD.
since but from having access to the internet from such a
Yeah.
young age,
Yeah.
all of us within this 20 to 30-year-old range has been like, oh yeah, I've seen that video you're talking about and it is horrific, but we are so like desensitized that we're like,
Or videos of car accidents, videos of fires, videos of
well yeah, I
people
mean,
getting injured in sports, like, horrifically, and you're
how
like,
many times have
oh
you
my
driven
gosh.
by an accident and you've thought like, oh, I should get my phone out and take a video? Why is that your first thought and not like, oh my gosh, I hope someone's okay?
Oh
Like,
my god, don't look, don't look.
yeah, but like that is, I think people pull their phone out for like the views. Like, oh well, if I can post this, I'll
It's
get
so
some
weird.
views. Or oh
The
my
other
gosh, it's
night we
crazy.
were stuck in traffic. Remember, we were all going
Yeah,
out
it's
to it
online.
was a friend's birthday,
Yeah,
And there was a guy climbing a structure. So where we live, there's just this, I don't know, I guess it's
Art
art,
structure.
but it looks like
Yeah.
a giant ladder, essentially. And he just decided to climb up it thinking it'd be fun, but got stuck.
Yeah.
And everybody assumed it was a jumper. And it
There's
was
videos
horrific,
online.
but there was so much traffic. It took me an extra 40 minutes to get through this one
Mhm.
section of the main freeway because everybody's stopping to look at this guy
And get their
on the
videos, and
thing.
guess what? They're online. So
Yeah, it's so funny. Like we can't look away. I mean,
well,
I have personally seen deceased people driving by from road rage and from car accidents, and I'm like, I don't want to see this kind of thing. Like, oh my gosh, I'm like,
so
I started crying. Like,
it's the same thing that I think a lot of like emergency medical care professionals and like military people have had to do is you have to dehumanize people to make it through the day. So like when I work as
yeah,
an EMT, I've seen some pretty messed up stuff that like horrific.
yeah,
But you have to step back and pull your own self out and go, this isn't real. I'll pretend.
hmm
And that's what you do. And like military people do it. And this is why there's such high suicide and like mental health
mm.
issues within the military and emergency care
And
because
police,
you have to dehumanize people to make it okay for
just
your
to
brain.
get through the day.
But now you have such a mass dehumanization of people because you're seeing it constantly online. Like,
Hmm
so yeah, it's okay for others to not see you as a real person who is capable of feelings and capable of life
Yeah,
because of that.
yeah. You're
So
reminding me of a story when I was like used to go to the gym with like I had a group of friends who'd all work out together, and there was a couple firefighters that would be there, and sometimes their stories. And it's like he's laughing and telling the story, and I'm like, you're telling me a story about finding someone who hung themselves, like, and you're thinking it's acting like it's funny, and I was like,
yeah, it is like
nope,
the
not one,
culture.
not funny. Two, shouldn't be sharing that with other
It's a
people.
culture within that emergency or like first responders and military is they have
Hmm
people will joke like, "Oh my gosh, we have such dark humor," but you have to laugh at it or else it is like, what's the alternative, right?
It makes sense that but they have to keep it compartmentalized in where that's funny, and then also just so I can get through. I
The
mean, I can't
situations.
even imagine being a first responder to a car accident, and there's
Yeah,
people that are
horrible.
not going to make it,
Yeah,
and what you're going to see is going to be some nightmare stuff.
yeah.
I mean, it's like that's why we have such respect for people who do that kind of work because someone has to do it, and it's just awful.
Well, yeah, and even like hearing some veteran
Mm.
stories who never even like left the United States, but some of the stuff that they've been through of like reporting a young Marine to their parents that they committed suicide at. So many military members feel like they can't even like claim stuff as PTSD, claim it as depression because they're supposed to be strong and all of this, like, but they have to dehumanize everybody, or else if they let themselves think about it, they're like, it's ending. That's why they have horrible alcohol problems and commit suicide and have depression. Like,
The divorce rates and stuff
divorce rates are
too
so
for some
high.
of them,
Like,
like police officers, I think have a really high divorce rate because they just are having a really hard time processing and
well, so
what
yeah,
happens there,
what,
being they don't have that kind of mental health care for them to
it's
act
there.
appropriately, and a lot of them end up doing things in anger that they shouldn't, in domestic violence.
So I would say, like, it is there. Okay.
Yeah.
Working in healthcare, talking to military veterans, it's there, the mental health help. But it's not like full on encouraged to go see them because,
Mm.
it's this culture of like being strong, being a man, not talking about your feelings. But then you
Yeah.
see the other side of like, okay, these people feel like they can't go and see somebody and talk about their feelings because of whatever they've been raised to feel. Now you have all these people who have alcoholism or are domestic have domestic violence problems or commit suicide. Like, I think that's just like horrible that that's not something that is encouraged. It's more of just like, yeah, we have it, sure, you can go
Okay.
use it if you want,
Mm.
or you have to go see them because we all experience this traumatic event, but like you don't have to talk to them. It's
Mm.
very casual, which is so weird.
Well, back to the neutrality
Yeah.
thing, or having how to be neutral for, not taking political sides necessarily, but how do you look at each situation, from the standpoint of, I have to solve this problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you would do at work. You can't go to your priest or whatever. Like you have to actually look at the facts, work with your other employees from a neutral standpoint. So
Yeah.
if we looked at that even when we vote. So I'm an independent, I'll just say that. I mean, I'm not, the thing is like how I vote is
What's going to be the best for overall?
I want what's best for everyone, what's best for society. I don't understand people who are like, oh, well, I want this for me. I
Mm-hmm.
want this kind of world. I want something that aligns with my personal beliefs. I don't understand voting that way. That just feels morally wrong.
I think it's just back to
Do you
the
know what I
whole like
mean? Like,
wanting
I want
others
to be in the
people to
middle,
only
like, in the
think what you
sense
think.
of this is how we have peace.
Yeah.
The best way to think about this is what makes this a win for both of us.
Or
I don't know.
people
What do you
let
think about
other,
that?
I think so many people think that other people's opinions are horrific because they don't agree. That's what it is.
Oh, I've
It's
noticed
like,
that. You're must be crazy because I couldn't be.
yeah. But like, both people are sitting there like, you must be crazy that you do something a certain way because I could never do that. Instead of going, wow, that's so interesting. Like, how did you get to that point? Wow, let me put myself in your shoes and see everything that you've experienced or you've seen. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I can understand how you've gotten to where you are based off of experience or what you were raised. Like, people can't put themselves in other people's shoes, play devil's advocate. They have to be so stern on, like, this is me, this is my world, and you're just living in it. That's what's so weird.
Well, and the loudest people politically often are the least educated. Like, and
Yeah.
I mean, no matter where they're standing, I would say the people that are listening and learning and solving problems aren't necessarily super loud, or it doesn't come across loud because it doesn't grate other people. So they're not being argued against so much, right? So, but it's like, if you have a very strong opinion that's very far off one way or another, you're going to piss people off every time you open your mouth. And people are judging you morally, probably, on a lot of the things that you're saying, right? So it's like, maybe caution from why would you need to constantly share these things, first of all?
Well,
And then also ask yourself, one of the things I've noticed about people is they have a lot of fears that I wouldn't say I have these same really deep fears about particular things that they seem really huge
yeah.
politically. And I think you have to educate yourself and travel the world and like get out there to be able to have a bigger picture of what's really going on.
Yeah.
So like you've lived in one county your whole entire life and you never move. You're going to listen to one news channel. You're not going to have a very intelligent viewpoint when you share your opinion, whether you like it or not. You're just not.
Well, so it's like the exposure to people who have lived different lives and have different things that I think kind of not dampens, but okay, so maybe people will have a stunted form of reality
Mm-hmm.
from,
Limited, maybe.
okay, a
Limited.
limited reality from one specific place. So if you live in a small town where you see the people you went to middle school, elementary school, and high school with, and
Mm-hmm.
all of them and their parents still live there and their grandparents still live there, but yet you have never left that town
Mm-hmm.
and experienced a different town in the same state or just one town over, or even been to a different state, but also yet another country, you have limited your amount of growth because people in one area can only share the same opinion so much, right? I mean, the whole point of us being able to talk is to like communicate and discuss and like grow our own minds. Like, and maybe this is just my own thing. Like, I constantly want to keep learning. Like, I love learning about other people and other cultures and how our world came to be based off of different things.
Mm-hmm.
But staying in the same place is being stagnant, and stagnant water isn't good to drink, right? You want a
It's a
river
great
of
analogy.
knowledge, like, and
Don't
that's how
drink
I
from
think.
the stagnant
Don't
pond.
drink from the constant stagnant water. It's not good for you because you have a river stream that's down the street that you could go and drink from and still have,
Mm-hmm.
it has so much more to offer. And that's, maybe that's just me, but I really do enjoy like hearing other people and, maybe things that I'll never experience, but I can go, wow, that is crazy that you experienced that and that is amazing. Or maybe I don't agree, but I'm like, at least I got a
Yeah.
different opinion.
Well, and I think even just over the last 5 to 10 years, the discussions I've had with you coming from, like, say, your high school experience and where you went, where we lived, and we don't always agree off the cuff on a, a topic that comes up. And I
No.
don't even know how to go into this very specifically without just to keep it neutral. I mean, to not use an example, but there's things we've discussed that you have absolutely changed my mind.
Really?
Yeah. And it's because I didn't really have a lot of experience with, say, that issue or
Hmm.
something like that. And I grew up in a different place. I went to a very different school environment than going to private schools than you did. And Allie, I put my kids in public school because I really wanted them to have more diversity more than anything and different, I don't know, just different viewpoints of the world and discussions. And it really was better. It was so much better.
Can you think of something that isn't like, could be a political topic or something that might be more neutral that you could like share on that?
Okay, the first thing that comes to mind I would be sex.
Yikes.
Do we want to go there? Parents and teenagers talking about sex is hard enough. So let's say, how do you say be neutral? Talk to your kids in a way that's healthy, that is okay for their level of maturity and their age. You give them information without alienating them.
Mm-hmm.
But I experience a lot of different things. Like, so other parents being, well, let me say this first of all. My children would tell me all the time that I was the most
Prude.
uptight, prude mom. When I talked to other people, I felt like maybe I wasn't, So it was just funny because I just felt like I was just trying to be very safe and logical and also protect you, right? And
Yeah.
but you definitely said some things that really hit home with me, and because I was listening, right? So, and one of those things was once you are over 16 years old, body autonomy.
Yeah.
You have the right to your own body, your choices, what you choose to do with it. I can have an opinion. I can talk to you about safety. I can tell you what is and is not allowed in my home because you're
Yeah.
living in my home, right?
Right.
But in the end, I feel like you're going to do what you're going to do. You're going to be you and do what you're comfortable with and hopefully still feel safe to talk to me. But I never wanted to alienate you to the fact where, like, you couldn't come and talk to me if
Something ever happened
there
or
was a reason that you needed to talk to me, or if you were
right.
like, hey, I need to go to the doctor, I would like you to set it up, but I don't want to talk to you about why. In
Yeah.
reality, once you're, what is it, 14,
I think it's like once you start kind of
you
like
can
going
go to
through
the doctor
puberty.
alone.
Yeah.
So I remember there was a point when the doctor would ask, do you want your mom to come back? And I would be like, no. And or she would always, or we'd both be in the room, and then she'd ask my mom to leave.
Yeah.
And then she'd say, is there anything you want to discuss now that your mom's gone?
Yeah.
Or and ask me certain questions. And I remember really remembering the first time this happened because it was right when I had my period. So I was probably like 13 years old ish. I was somewhere right around there.
Yeah.
12. I had
I was
kind of young.
13.
I can't remember. And so she's like, oh, I'm just kind of, and then my mom came in at the end and she goes, oh, so do you have any questions? And she goes, well, I'm just kind of concerned because she hasn't had her period. And the doctor just looks at me like, because she knew that I had my period and I had talked to the doctor, but I was like,
oh no, I'm good, Mom.
my mom and I did not have a very open relationship because she was not into neutral, open conversations. I felt shut down all the time. Like I wasn't allowed to have an opinion. She was very uncomfortable with any confrontation, but also like something outside of her school of thought was just something she didn't want to discuss, right? So it was
Right.
just abstinence, you're not having sex. The end. Go away. And so it was just scary for me. Like I wasn't comfortable trying on bras with her. I wasn't comfortable talking about it. And I remember that so that I wanted to never have you feel that way because that was really hard on me as a girl to not have a person to say, "Oh my god, I had my period. What do I do?"
You know what's funny is
I
I
was
remember telling
stealing
you when I
pads from
first
my
got mine.
girlfriends, like from their house. Like we would go to buy stuff at Walgreens.
You were the
Like
first
I
person
didn't
I
know what to do.
told. And
Yeah,
that's, I mean, it was my birthday party, so that was awkward. But I remember like dealing with it and telling you, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, okay, we got it. Like, we're going to figure out
yeah.
all the stuff
So
or
no
whatever.
matter
But
what anybody believes about sex or what they want to tell their kids or what they want to teach them, the thing is if you shut down conversation and you alienate them from telling you the truth, you're really hurting their development and you're
yeah.
creating a place where they're not safe anymore because they can't tell you when something happens.
Well, and that's even like talking, not even just like normal stuff that you might need to talk to your parents about, but like
Yeah.
even bringing in like if sexual assault or if something were to happen that you would, as a parent, would be like, I hope my kid would tell me.
Yeah.
Like, you still want to be able to open up those kind of doors to where they can bring it up to you.
Or if they mention something like they were assaulted and you instantly tell them like, "Oh, that didn't happen or that couldn't
Right.
have happened." What? No,
I
you
can't
need to
even
go to
believe
jail.
like not believing your own children
No.
on their own things. But
That's
like
horrible.
that is something that like I experienced of having, an open parent is like talking to my friends about that and they're like, "Oh my, I would never ask my mom that," or
Mhm.
I,
That happened
they're
a
like,
lot in our
"Stop,
house.
why are you asking your
That
mom that?"
happened a
And I'm
lot.
like,
I was
she's
that
mine.
mom where she would come up, "I have a
Hypothetically,
question.
if somebody were to have this happen, what's your thoughts?
What do you think about this, mom?" And the friend would be like this. Oh my
They would be
god.
like, "Why are you asking your
Shut
mom?"
up, don't do it.
I'm like,
And then I knew, like you would make a face, like or you'd look at me and I knew what was going on. So I would be as cool as a cucumber.
yeah, casual.
Let's talk about
But
it.
I think
What do you
like
think?
that was something that I experienced with so many young women who were like, "Oh my god, I would never tell my mom that, or I would never bring that up to my mom, or I don't have anybody to talk to." And they would ask me a question,
Yeah.
and I'm over here like texting my mom, like, "Hey mom, so
Yeah, you text me from the basement.
weird, but what do you think about this?"
You're
Like,
like,
but I would rather have somebody who can give like safe opinions, or not
yeah.
opinions, more like facts, or somebody that I could ask questions to that could give like a good answer to young women who don't have a good place. Because the other option is they talk to other young women or young men who also don't know those answers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I remember the funniest story. Like I was like maybe in sixth or seventh grade, and a boy asked me, us girls were just walking down the hall, and he's like, "How does the blood come out? Like, is it just dripping?" And I was like, "I think it just oozes." Like that was the
Yeah,
word. I was good with words,
that's a good
and
word.
I'm like,
Maybe
and
not my favorite.
everybody was like, "How would you
Tell
know?"
us more.
I was like, um.
Well,
But I just remember like there's knowledge is power and knowledge empowers your children, right? So it's whether it's talking and I know I have had experiences with other parents where they really want to keep their kids um
sheltered.
n- protected.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say naive, but like they want to shelter them from certain things. Like they think they're being nice. But I was the opposite of that when I was a mom. I was like, what happens if somebody asks you to come help them find their dog that's lost and he's in a van, like
Yeah.
offers you candy? And you remember this? And she would go, I would say yes. And I was like, no, adults never
Need
need
children's help.
children to help them.
I remember
Never,
that.
never.
That's
I
funny.
never taught my kids like, mommy needs you to help clean. I can't clean the kitchen. No, adults don't need your help. And this is to prevent grooming.
But that's the whole thing is like,
And I was like, if somebody ever says, "Oh, if you tell your mom this, I'm going to hurt your mom," I'm like, they're not going to hurt me. Look at me.
I
They
remember
can't.
you going, "They're not going
Never
to
going to
hurt me.
happen.
I'm going to hurt them though."
Yes, I was like, you tell
And
me
I remember, I
anyway.
mean, I never
And I
had a
told them that this is
situation,
something bad people say.
but I do
But
think it
then
is
they
important
knew.
to like know to teach your kids those things. It's like,
You
hey,
do. I thought it was really
but
important.
you
Because
know
I
what?
could not live with myself
If
if you had
something
been
happened,
groomed or if you got kidnapped. Like I literally, I just would have. I don't know how I could do that. So in my mind, it was always how much information can I download to my kids? Like I want to feel like here you're 25 and you know everything I know. Like I have told you everything I can give
yeah.
you because now this is how we have generational growth where you'll know so much more in your lifetime.
And then I give
Like I
everything that
learned
you
so
knew.
much from you. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a process of you were my oldest child. So it's my first time doing this. I'm just a girl trying this for my
She's
first
just a
time.
girl. I remember
Just
my
try.
mom's literally just a girl living her life for the first time too.
Exactly. When the first
She's
time I
just
heard
baby
that, and
girl.
like girls say that online, I was like,
You're
you,
right.
we do need to
She's just
relax.
baby girl too, just like
We're
me.
like, I don't know, I'm just figuring it out. Like we're not perfect. We make mistakes.
No, I remember
And
all those things.
but the main thing is no matter what you feel about sex, the way that you discuss it is what creates safety, and giving them knowledge prevents things from happening. So say teen pregnancy and whatnot, whether you like it or not. I'm adopted, and my mom was 14 when she had me, and I'm the product of the first
First
time
time.
ever. Do you want to try it at a sleepover? And so,
Yeah.
oops,
So,
grandma.
but knowledge is power. And do you know how many girls that I had like talked that I can remember these conversations that was like, well, the first time you do it, you can't get pregnant. Or if you haven't had your period yet, you can't get pregnant. But yet, I
Not
remember going,
facts.
but couldn't you get pregnant if like right before your first period that you didn't even know? And then them going, huh. And I remember asking you, and you're like, well, I mean, yes, actually, you could because you could have like ovulated and then you get your first period a few weeks later. So I remember those kind of questions that if I hadn't had you to ask, then I could have gone back to my friends and been like, so you can get pregnant if you still haven't had your first period because you could possibly ovulate it.
And also, girls have had spotting or had a little period and they don't know, or they think there's something else in their
Mm-hmm.
underwear and they
Yeah,
don't know. They
exactly.
don't know they had their period or they're starting to ovulate. Like, so,
But I think having those conversations to the point where like your kids feel comfortable enough asking you questions that you can answer. You answer
yeah,
from, oh my God, well, why would you even ask that? Instead of, well, here's hypothetical. If this were to happen,
yeah.
here's an answer. Now you've just opened up this big old like, okay, my kid feels more comfortable talking to me because I'm not going to judge them. Because I mean, you tell a teenager not to do something, what are they going to do? It's
We want to know
literally something that they do.
why.
No, it's like
We
you
don't
tell
just
your
not
kids
do it,
not to
you
drink
guys. We don't
alcohol.
just not do it because you
You
said.
I know. You tell your kids not to drink alcohol, especially a teenager. What are they going to go do? They're going to drink alcohol with their friends. But you teach them like, "Hey, if you ever drink when you're in high school, I get it. You're going to want to experiment, but no matter what, I will always come get you. I might be a little mad, but I would rather I drive you home."
Yeah, we won't even talk about it. We'll talk about it later. I mean, first of all,
Yeah.
if you're drinking, it's not the time to talk about it.
No.
And I just saw a post, actually. I saw this woman posting that her son was killed by getting in the car with another kid that was drunk. And it's awful. And, you want your kid to be able to call you and say, I need you to come get me. I know you're in bed, but my ride's been drinking. Do you want me to get in the car with them? Nope, I'm coming.
No.
I'm coming.
And
And they
I
better
even
take their keys and hide them.
I heard from this like mom or dad they were talking about it was like a Reddit story, and he's like, my daughter called me. She's in high school, like senior, and she was 2 a.m. in the morning. She's like, "Hey, we've been drinking." Like they're all giggling, and she's like, "Can you come get me?" And like me and my friends need a ride home. And the dad remembers like I remember getting up and being like, "I'm so pissed that they would do this." But he's like, the moment I was driving them all home and they were all still giggly and laughing in the back of my car, I would much rather have this than a different kind of phone call. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. Why wouldn't I?
And those other phone calls are not nice. I've gotten a
No.
10:30 p.m. phone call from a hospital when your brother crashed his motorcycle, and it was horrifying. And he's okay, but it was really scary.
It had nothing to do with alcohol
No,
though.
no,
He's fine.
completely unrelated, but it was
but
still very scary to crash a motorcycle. So
but you would much rather
put my
have
helmet
like
on. Get a helmet. Wear your helmet.
I would much rather have my kid call me and be laughy giggly in the back seat, and I'm like, yeah, I'm upset that you drank, than get a phone call that my kid got into a car accident and died.
Well, it's like people don't want to admit to their parent that they tried something and
Yeah.
then it didn't go well, or they don't know, they don't want you to know. And it's like you created that environment as the parent
Mm-hmm.
when they didn't want you to know and they didn't want to tell you. So to me, that's on parents to change how you're doing things and how you're handling that so that you can provide and create safety for your kids. And, it's just a big deal. Like, we're not promoting the behavior, but if it happens, you can't come at it with such a level of judgment and punishment that they're never going to tell you anything ever again.
Yeah, you can even just discuss
You
it
just
like,
shut down communication completely.
why did you want to, like, after this all, if you find out they do something, like, let's say smoke weed, because that's one thing I can think of, is like, okay, I understand you smoke weed, but like, why do you feel the need to smoke weed? Or, okay, let's discuss, like, how did it make you feel? Do you feel like it's something you'd want to do again? Do you know? But like, open the discussion to where you make them feel like you're asking them. That's like a, hey, I really just want to know why, like, and how you feel, with no judgment.
If I asked you that in high school, you feel like you'd tell me?
I mean, I don't know if
Like
I'm the
if
best
you're the
person to ask.
if you were gonna to drink or smoke weed in high school and I were to ask you like what made you want to try this, if you can think back to when you were like say 17 years old, what do you think you would have answered me? Do you
Maybe
think
me. I don't know if it would have been like,
I don't know that a lot of kids really want to answer that. They're uncomfortable with that.
but
But
I mean, I think it's opening up the conversation too. You live in,
so humanize, show respect. And the other thing is be open to the fact that you could be wrong
yeah.
or that you could be missing information. Maybe you're not wrong. You just don't have all the facts.
And I think you can know that based off of how you view other people. So, like, thinking about it, if you were to go, oh, I want to travel to this state, and then instantly your brain goes, well, the people there are like X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a little sheltered. Or if you
Yeah.
think, oh my God, I can't go to this big city in my state because, you know, this. Like, and so that's where I would say that, okay, maybe you are a little sheltered if you can't go, oh yeah, I really do want to go to, you know, Tennessee because I really want to go see Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And just that's the only thought you had instead of like, well,
If you have never been there,
experience it.
you shouldn't really maybe have those opinions. But if you have been there repeatedly, then maybe you're allowed to have some of
Yeah,
your
that's what I'm
opinions.
saying. But I'm like,
Like I could say, okay, there's some places I have been, and oh yeah, the stereotypes are correct.
I agree.
But it's just funny to hear a lot of people make a lot of worldly comments about different cultures
Without
and
ever
they've
experiencing.
never been out of the United States.
Well, yeah, it's
Like,
like,
where are
what
you
do you,
getting your information?
so
Let's talk
that's,
about that. Where do you get your information and why do you think it's so accurate? Or like
well,
just be open to the fact that there could be more information is what I'm saying.
so I will look at it from like what I've always been taught being in a scientific community when I've had to write papers about a
Mhm.
subject that I was, looking into.
Mhm.
Um, you have to find like peer reviewed data, so things that have been able to been repeated or proven by other people who might have
Mhm.
different opinions.
Yeah.
But you also have to find things that are completely neutral.
Mhm.
So let's say if you have a question about something, or if you want to know but you lean towards one way, instead of searching like, you know, the sky is blue, why? Instead, you're going, what color is the sky? Because you're asking a more broader term that isn't more like, well, I already know the sky is blue. So, like, prove to me why the sky is blue with all your facts.
Oh my gosh, that just reminded me of two really funny things. Are you done?
Yeah, sure.
No.
I hope I
No.
got my point across with that. It's like,
No, that's exactly what I was going to say is if you go out on the internet and you search and search and search for validation of what you already want to believe, you're probably going to find
yeah,
somebody who said it as
yeah.
opposed to finding a neutral place to say, okay, why are people arguing about this at all? Let's
Mm-hmm.
read all the sides. Let's get the information. But if
Yeah.
you just want to be correct, you're
Well,
probably going to go search out things that make you feel like you were right.
if you wanted to find out if vaccines were right for your children, and
Oh, that's a
you
really
are
good
trying to
example.
decide if you want to do it for your own children,
Mm-hmm.
but you feel like you're leaning one way or another. People
Mm-hmm.
will go up and search, let's say, why are vaccines bad for my kids?
Mm-hmm.
And never searching why are vaccines good for my kids. If you
Mm-hmm.
search why are they bad, you're only going to get why they're bad, right? But instead you're going, okay, what is the research behind on why
Yeah.
we do any vaccines? And what is the like data that's behind any of it?
Yeah. At least one of my news sources is always from external, from the country. Wow. I love hearing other countries talk about us.
Before Google, if you had a question and if no one that you knew the answer, where do you go?
The library.
And what do you find books on that certain topic or something that discusses it?
Yeah.
Written by who?
People, generally professors or doctors.
Or people who were, you know, the top in their field who are writing about this, right? I'm going to go to the expert for things. Like, you're not going to go and just want to learn about art from a mathematician. Like, that would be stupid, right?
It's just as silly as getting your medical advice from someone who's sitting on a bus stop, bored, waiting for the bus to come. Well, my mom said.
Well, my mom said that I had to put garlic in between my toes and that would fix it. I don't know. But, I mean, sure, that there are
My
other...
grandma taught me this. The conclusions you're going to come to are maybe on one side or the other, and that's okay, because you have to also make moral judgment calls with things going on in the world.
I've grown
But
up
when
with
you
that.
say things that are neutral to people who are way off on one side or the other, it's going to sound like you're the other side.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to be neutral on
No.
that. Thanks for listening. For more fun updates, check us out on TikTok.